I have a love-hate relationship with etching. I love the artsy atmosphere, the street performers, and all the shops dedicated to passions of mine like yo-yos and very woolly hats. I hate that a sandwich costs the same as a bicycle. But sadly, you can't have one without the other. Wherever there's a cool vibe, the expensive sandwich guys are sure to follow.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to 2 Point Campus. We are here in Upper Etching, the city's arts district, where broke students and swanky executives coexist with no hint of irony. The campus was founded by well-meaning arty types who didn't believe in charging their students. However, music industry giants Bungle Records are always eager to pay for the next big thing. If we're going to make it in show business, we'll need to produce as much talent as possible. So here we have musicality and countercultural studies working together with a student intake of 20. And we are just going to have a look at the absolute mess here. Here's Jasmine Odyssey. She has come here to do a big favour for Bungle Records every few years. Anyway, we have a little bit of a mess here that we need to clean up. So we have a very poorly designed student union and some benches just left around all over the place. We've got to look forward to cleaning all of the messy students' mess up. She's going to find us some croissants while we're going to do the hard work. We need to hire a janitor and get a level 6 student union, so we're going to start by selling off all of this stuff and do a full redevelopment. We're going to jump ahead and I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I've done. So the rules for Upper Etching: there's no charge. The campus doesn't believe in charging its students. We don't receive tuition fees, rent or an XP bonus. Bungle Records want us to develop as much talent as possible and they'll pay us a fee whenever a student levels up. If we cram our students with XP to maximise their potential, and we'll receive as much money as we can from Bungle Records. So we need a gym, a lecture theatre, a recording studio, a countercultural studies teacher and a musicality teacher. We're going to get on with all of that, and then we have our 1-star objectives to do, which include an open mic night. I assume this goes on in the student union, but I don't appear to see it in the event setup screen, so that might come after we've developed our first stuff and started our new academic year. Alright, we are done. The library is terrible. I'm probably going to develop that once I've got a bit of money, but we have now unlocked open mic nights and we're going to set one up at the beginning of the year to repeat every year in September, so our new students can be blooded and we'll see who the really talented ones are. And we'll set a couple more up throughout the year to give them a little bit of extra practice and hope that it brings in a little bit more experience points and gets them closer to levels up every time they perform at these open mic nights, and then we'll have one in right towards the end of the year. This library is not great. I'm going to develop that, but we need to level up our 150 students. We've got to do some training as well and get a campus level to 15. Most of those are going to happen residually. The only thing that we're going to need to be really active in is doing our training. Let's have a look at our dormitories. They are all pretty good. High accommodation rating, 10 students, but of course we don't make any income from rent, which isn't great, but we still want to make those dormitories look really nice. Over here it looks like we've got some more space to develop into, so that's really nice. We've got a decent sized plot here to begin with, which is nice to see. I'm going to redevelop this library though because it's awful. Much better. Okay, right, that's a nice tidy little library we've got going on there, and now we can continue expanding. We've leveled up 23 students already. We've completed one open mic and our campus level is 5 of 15. We do need to focus on training at some point. As I've already said, that's going to be the one thing that we need to put the effort into. Everything else will happen residually. But to begin with, we're going to put some food and drink machines in, a couple of relationship building items and some entertainment, because all of those things and fulfilling those student needs will help them perform better in classes and learn quicker, which means we can start churning out levels. It's going to be difficult at the moment because we only have 20 students on campus, so once they get to a part of the year where they're not getting XP as much because our rooms aren't adequately decorated and fleshed out because we don't have the budget to do that, the levels will start to dry up, as like I'm predicting anyway, towards the end of the year. They're not going to get levels as much as they can, which will put us at a slight disadvantage when we go to redevelop and build out more rooms or make some upgrades and hire new staff and things. So we want to make sure that we're getting as much money early on in this level, because we know that at some point they're going to hit a little bit of a threshold that they can't break through until we actually spend some money upgrading. So that's the next kind of step. I'm going to put a private tuition room in because that's also going to help us get some XP as well. And that should do it for our private tuition room, which is really good. And you can see we've got some static bike requests there for the gym. We'll put that in place. And obviously fulfilling these needs on demand will also help students be happier, and they will upgrade and get levels a little bit quicker. Pastoral care we do need to put in as well. We're going to do that as soon as we've got enough money to do so. We can just put in a basic one. We're going to put this Jasmine Odyssey poster down as well, because once again, fulfilling those needs on demand, as I was about to say, will help them to achieve higher levels at a quicker rate. The happier your students are, the more they're going to level up, and the better their grades are going to be, so it all kind of feeds into each other. We've got a couple more requests that we're going to put in place as well, and we can put that romantic film on for them, which will increase their happiness as well. That poster there, we'll put it in here. Oh, you don't sound good. You are not going to do very well at all this year, I'm afraid, so you better get some learning done very quickly. And that's our pastoral support in place. We also have unlocked a new club called the Orb Club. The Orb Club will decrease your students' happiness, but it will bring in money every time it levels up. So here we go. Every time a student levels up their club skill, they will bring in some profit to the campus, but they suffer from diminished happiness, which is why it's important that you have all of these amenities in place so that you can keep those students happy while they're getting money for your campus. And that's going to be vitally important in a campus where we don't have any rent or tuition fee income. So, really good to have that in place, and I probably could do with putting another few clubs in, but we do have a records cubicle request here that we're going to fulfill. You'll also notice that I have hardly any kudos, so a lot of the stuff that is going to require unlocking I'm not going to be able to do, which means we could have some failed assignments here. I am going to bring in somebody to work in my pastoral support room. Lester Legend will be the one, and that's all done. Alright, so we're coming up towards the end of the year, and you can see here we've had no bungle bonus, which means we've got no level ups in the last month. That could be because there's been no classes and no assignments ongoing, which means students haven't had that opportunity to increase their levels. But you can see now they're all in the library working, which is going to start having them level up a little bit more. We are on 92 of 150, so we're over the halfway point for that, and we've completed 2 of 3 open mic nights, and our third one is ongoing, but only 2 people. Oh no, they're all coming in now. Thought there was only 2 people watching. We have a coffee kiosk request. Of course, they're artists. They love coffee. I come from an arts background, I'm allowed to say that, so anyone else, if you're thinking about insulting me for saying that, it's confirmed as true. Coming from an arts background, we all love coffee. Anyway, I could do with putting a staff room in, but I want to try and save my money for the training room. I would like to get that done by the end of this year, but I'm not sure it's going to be possible. We are just shy of the end of the year at the moment, and we can't afford the upgrades that are kind of required of us. So that's quite frustrating, because I'm hoping that we can bring in a few more level ups towards the end of the year, and like while this last class is ongoing and while we've hopefully got some assignments going, I'm going to upgrade my courses now because it doesn't add any more room requirements or teacher requirements, so it's a safe kind of bet to do that, knowing that regardless of what happens, we're going to have to spend $60,000 on upgrading our campus anyway. Unfortunately, you can see right there we're just short of it, and when our monthly outgoings out of the account, we're going to drop further down. But we just want to push our income towards the end of the year as quickly as possible. I'd like to get the training room done as early into the new academic year as possible, when we get that initial boost from the new students leveling up. But at the moment, it's just kind of walking a fine line at the moment, because we've got half a month left. We're going to have our wages come out. We don't have much more of an opportunity to get students leveled up unless some of them squeeze in some assignments towards the end of this year. It's not been too bad a first year though. We've got 116 of 150 students trained up, and we have a campus level of 7 of 15. We're almost halfway to level 8, so I'm kind of where I expected to be. It's just a shame that the bank balance isn't really doing too well when we kind of think about forward planning. We've got about 9 grand extra in the bank right now, and that's going to plummet when we have our wages come out by about 40 grand, which is going to leave us quite short. So what we might do is take a little bit of a risk and start the new academic year without any of the developments. You can see there We need a computer lab. What have we won in terms of awards though? 100% pass rate and 20 continuing. We also won Campus of the Year, which is a surprise because I've not really done anything to make the campus look really good. We need a computer lab, a lecture theatre, 2 countercultural studies teachers and 1 musicality teacher. So we've spent a little bit of our budget duplicating some rooms to put in our computer lab and our lecture theatre. I can hire 1 countercultural studies teacher, and then we can't afford any more teachers, which is a bit of a shame. But if we start our next academic year with these unresolved requirements, it gives us 30 days, which means any students that are in there now doing some assignments and stuff, they level up and get us some cash in, which means we'll be able to hire those 2 new teachers quite safely before the new year starts. You can see here we've already hit $10,000, which means we can bring in those new teachers immediately just before those first classes start. Which is always, that was a pretty good tactic to employ in this early stage of this level, knowing that you get money every time somebody levels up. It's safe to assume that you're not going to have a class to really kick things off in August. The first class will be September. If you can get enough level ups from those first students or those returning students, you're going to be able to hire those teachers. It's only really if you have to build any new rooms that it could become an issue. So we'll put in this Meat Wizard machine as requested by a student. One thing I did forget to do was repeat the remaining open mic nights every year. So my first one was always scheduled to go ahead and repeat every year, but I forgot to mark these as repeating every year. So we're going to do that now. And as you can see, somebody's already in there. I'm not actually sure if doing open mic nights is required, but there we go. We've topped over 150 students leveled up. And now we have 2 objectives left to complete. Ideally, I'd like to get my training room. I thought I had enough there, and then our monthly outgoings came out. But you can see a lovely big bungle bonus to begin the year, which gives us a nice financial building block. We have the pastoral support in, but nobody's going for the help with writer's block. I guess that is due to just people are happy, and it just needs to be unless writer's block is in the medical lab, which we don't actually have yet. But you can see we've got some students at risk of failing, and that's probably because they've only had their first classes. They are all first years, and once they get a bit of XP in by doing an assignment, their grades should increase. And really, grades aren't an issue. It's leveling up that is the thing we need to be doing, although right now that doesn't matter because we've completed that first objective. So it might be worth us just maximizing our happiness now, so that our students can maximize their skills. We've just got to get our level up of our campus and get our training lab built, which I'm hoping to do very, very soon. Money's looking good, so I think it might be about time that we put that in place. Let's just have a look. We've lost money again though, so I can't do it, which is... Right, there we go. Our training room is in place, finally, after 3 months of attempting and failing. You can see there, kudos required for some of the other items there, and we can't do that. So sound mixers, trombone, and the orb monument, we're going to leave that because we can probably afford to unlock that very soon. We're going to start some training now, and I'm just going to train both of my musicality teachers. It is musicality that we need to increase to level 5, yes. So we only have the 2 teachers there. We're going to queue them up for musicality, and I'm wondering if I should just hire another teacher and use that one as our training teacher, because those 2 that we've currently got are teaching throughout the year, so it's going to mean that their training is going to happen very slowly, whereas if we have one teacher who's not doing anything but training, we can rank them up to level 5 very quickly. But for now, we'll leave it as it is. We've got this guy Bill Nobble that I've hired in. I'm going to remove him and just have him do private tuition. And the lounge will not only increase our campus level up to 10, which is great, but it will give our students somewhere to relax and chill out. We will unlock the orb monument and we'll place that. It's got to go outside, okay? So we'll put it, it would be nice there. Well, I'll just put it here for now. It'll go there, that's fine. It's just something to give a little bit of extra leveling up from that club itself. Now we're going to put in some kiosks and hire some staff to work in them. The hot dog kiosk is obviously a good one. It was requested by the students, and we will just make sure our staff are only working in food and drinks kiosks. We'll then bring in the veggie kiosk as requested because that increases the students' health, and healthy students are happy students, which means they will level up quicker and give me more cold hard cash, which I am going to need if I'm going to succeed in this level. So campus level 11, really good, excellent. We've flown through those couple of levels, which is nice. It brings us closer to our objectives. One thing I haven't actually put in is the medical office, and that could be causing some issues here because we do have a few medical issues. I believe writer's block is more of a medical issue than a pastoral care issue. I should probably just check it out, but I haven't been able to do that right now. Bill Noble is going to start his training in level 5 musicality. I actually brought him away from private tuition just to have him grind up those levels to get to 5 in musicality as quick as possible, and then that just leaves us with levelling up our campus, which is now holding pretty well at level 12, and will continue to increase as we upgrade machines, train staff, and put more facilities in for our students. So they're all working hand in hand and increasing at a nice rate. Unfortunately, I still haven't found another assistant to work in my coffee kiosk, which is a bit of a shame, but we can hopefully get one coming in on the next sort of staff rota. Let's just see what we've won at the end of the year. We have dropped into a little bit of debt there, which is unfortunate.
It was great.
And we do have a lot of things to build as well, so that could be very difficult. 10 graduates, 40 continuing. We've won a couple of awards there, and that's a really nice end to the year, but we do need to manage these finances a little better. We are $12,000 in debt, and I can't really afford to take a risk, so it looks like a loan may be the overall objective towards the end of this rebuild or redevelopment. And you can see here we have Bill. We'll have to have him do some teaching because we can't afford to hire more than one teacher, so that gives us 3 or 4 musicality teachers, and it does kind of mean he'll be in a little bit of a difficult situation in terms of his training, but he's halfway to level 5, so that's not too much of a problem. We can hopefully make a little bit of money towards the beginning of this year. Hopefully with our lecture theatre we can duplicate that with what residual funds we have from the first kind of push of XP gains. You can see here we do need the lecture theatre and the recording studio by September, and we need to hire a musicality teacher in 65 days, so that's not too much of a problem. And it's just getting those rooms put in place. I can probably make enough money to get the lecture theatre in, but not the recording studio. So we're gonna let things go right up to the wire here, right up to like 1 day. Bill is going for his training there. I've just clocked him, but he may get pulled away from that to do some teaching, so we'll just see how that goes. If we can get the lecture theatre built at least, then I'll only need to take out a loan for a recording studio, and then I could probably duplicate a dormitory to help with the new student intake that we've got. We've got 16 grand in the bank. I'm not actually sure how much. It would be great if when you go to the copy room tab here, it tells you how much it's going to cost, because we don't know that. It's $21,300. If that would just kind of hovered over the tooltip, that would be really useful. But you can see we can't afford the recording studio, so we're going to have to take out a loan. I'm going to take out the smallest one here. Then we can duplicate this recording studio, and we'll be able to put in a new dormitory, hopefully, for our new students. Because you can see, if we just hover over that, 42 students assigned to this one dormitory. So if we can get that one in, we'll then wait for some more profits to roll in, and we will duplicate a dormitory again to keep all of our students happy. It's not necessary because it's not really a huge requirement, but I would like to have the students as happy as possible so that they gain levels quicker and get as much XP as possible for us. That's level 13 on our campus, but I am noticing a few failed assignments, and that's because a lot of the assignments that we're getting at the moment require stuff that I need to spend kudosh to unlock, and I foolishly spent all my kudosh on buying meaningless decorative items before I started this level, which left me in a little bit of a shortage, which I really should have had a little bit more foresight about, because I've known this has happened. I've needed to use kudosh to buy items to upgrade these rooms and put new things in to help with those assignments, and I've not been able to do that. So next time I won't be spending my kudosh on random meaningless things, and I'll save them for our new rooms and our new items that we're going to need to unlock, because the recording studio has needed quite a few new items in there. So research might be a good idea. We'll probably put a little research lab down here so that we can start unlocking kudosh through the random generated research tasks, and if we can do that quickly, that'll help us get those things unlocked. Or we just improve the campus, get our level up, because I think that gives you a little bit of kudosh, unlock like little bits and pieces on the career tab, and get all that sort of stuff put in place. I'm going to put in some telephone boxes and a few different items to keep our students happy, and then we're looking pretty good. This should push us to like level 14, doing this little bit of extra work here, and we'll be nearly done. So I'm not putting anything extravagant in this research room. I just want to put the basic lab stuff in, and then a couple of items that will increase the research power of the room. It's nothing special. It's just something that I can use. If I get a couple of spare teachers working in here, they can start generating some kudos for me, and I'll hopefully be able to make up for my issues earlier on in the level where I spent all of my kudos before I had an opportunity to see what was going to be coming up in this level. We're going to upgrade some machines as well while we've got a little bit of money left over, and as you can see here, we don't have any research that we can unlock because we don't have anything like, you know, none of these courses are present in our current campus. So I'm going to need to just generate some new projects, and that's what I'm hoping to do, generate kudos based projects so that I can get the new items unlocked as required, so that our students don't need to fail so many assignments and they can continue generating experience. They are, however, using the, you can see, look at all of this. I don't want to put that in the gym, and there we go, vocal booth, internet history, countercultural studies, sound mixer, lots of kudos-based requests there that I can't afford. But we did complete one thing there that brought us in a reward, but it wasn't kudos. So a little bit of a difficulty there, which is really quite unfortunate. I should have known that, I've already said anyway. But we do have here a countercultural studies teacher who has inspirational speaking. Now, because this level, well, this first star objective has been based off training up our students, inspirational speaking would have been a really good thing to have early on, because it would give them that little boost to their learning rate if they are inspired by a teacher. That's okay though, we're doing pretty well, and I don't think it's anything to worry about, especially considering we have blasted through that leveling up of students and completed that very quickly. I'm going to make Bill stop teaching and working in private tuition so that he can go and do that last bit of training. We've got 54 days to find another musicality teacher, but I would assume Bill will have completed his training by then and we can put him back into a teaching role, which means all we'll have to do is level up our campus. We're halfway to level 15, so I assume that that's not going to take us much longer, and maybe even leveling up Bill will get us over that line and we'll complete the objective once he's completed his training. But this has been a really nice level. It reminded me a lot of the teaching-based hospital in 2 Point Hospital, where you had to get all of your money from training grants by leveling up your staff in terms of training them. But also there was another one where it was a completely like public ran hospital, and you had to like do little tasks for 2 Point County. That was the only way to get you some rewards, as well as using research. It was a really nice like little bit of a change of pace, and this one has been exactly the same. It's been interesting to see other methods of making money within a campus when you don't have the reliance on rent and tuition fees, because obviously that is a huge part of the incomes. Like looking at my financial tabs on some of the other levels that we've done, it's been mainly from rent and tuition fees, and it just kind of teaches you other ways of making those financial steps. Like the Orb Club's been really useful, and then a few other bits and pieces have been good as well. So making sure that we get the kiosks in, because you get more money from them than you do from the vending machines, but of course you have to offset those costs because you've got to get staff in to actually run them. So really interesting, really nice little gameplay mechanic, and something that if you have played 2 Point Hospital you would probably be prepared for. But I can imagine coming in blind and playing this game for the first time, having no experience of 2 Point Studios and how the last game they released worked, it would be quite a little like a difficult challenge. But we haven't done too badly here. I think we could have done a few things differently and a few things better, but coming in and learning this for the first time, even with previous experience, it's still a little bit of a challenge. But we are going to put a new toilet in here. This should take us up over level 15. It hasn't, but Bill, was it Bill? Bill has completed his training in level 5, and we can put this, oh we can't, we've just run out of money there. Come on, somebody do something really extraordinary to get us over the line and complete this first star objective. We're just going to wait, oh there we go, we did it. Campus level 15, we've unlocked new campuses. How many have we got now? 3. Lundergrad, Urban Bungle and Breaking Point. We've also unlocked the Cushion Bust. We are of course going to continue on with this level though. I'm putting that shower room in regardless. We've got a Cheesy Gubbins machine requested, so we can put that down. And what other requests do we have? Countercultural Studies bookcase, the Pianotrone vocal booth and a sound mixer. I did get a kudos reward there, so I'm going to unlock that bookcase. And I think the bookcases are the more important stuff. They'll benefit more students, so we'll put those in before we start thinking about upgrading the recording studio's equipment. And yeah, that'll be a really nice way to end this level. So I really hope you've enjoyed this 1-star objective here. And yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this one. This was a really nice level. It was nice to have something a bit artsy and seeing how different parts of the game work. It's also really cool to see more courses using multiple rooms. Of course, that comes with its own pitfalls, but we can learn how to work around them in what is quite a forgiving game in general. So I will see you guys for the next episode of 2 Point Campus, where we get our 2- and 3-star objectives. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.